Well, over the last few years in Leeds, we have increased the number of farmers' markets tremendously. We have one very close to us here. There's one in the centre of Leeds, dotted about all over the place. Food boxes, again, is if you want to have good fresh food, then you can arrange for that to be delivered to you on a regular basis, and that again is a scheme that's cropping up all over Leeds.
I'm aware of the Garden to Eat project that's happened in Chapeltown and Hare Hills, where as an experiment, one or two people that I know well were asked to find out, well, what are the blockages? Why don't people grow stuff? And somewhat to my surprise, there were three categories of households that they were looking at. Obviously there were houses with gardens, and in many cases nobody grows much. It's sometimes warren and overgrown. In other cases it can just be paved or pebbles or whatever, which is an opportunity missed in my view. You've then got in that area of Leeds and the area I represent as well, a lot of back-to-backs with small yards which have limited possibilities, but possibilities. And finally, tower blocks, where I'd mistakenly taken the view you don't grow anything if you're on the 12th floor of a tower block. But of course, I couldn't be further wrong in that it's possible to grow all sorts of things in tubs, on a balcony, potatoes, tomatoes, strawberries. I've seen all sorts of things that can be done.
More and more people are getting together to talk about exchanging vegetables that they might have grown in their own gardens, or renting out, if you like, space for people to come in and garden in their own gardens and share the produce. Not exactly a pay-as-you-go, but nonetheless a very friendly way of getting somebody to help you with your garden for the exchange of a few vegetables. It's a great idea.
Our study's shown that people need more than the telly, the web and books. They actually want to go and meet other people who've done it and be supported through it. So this might be, collecting up all sorts of reusable containers and then fixing them up on walls and fitting time watering systems to them, so you can grow lots of intensive pot-based stuff and still have an active urban lifestyle, because people aren't home every night or twice a day to do the watering.
Right in this neighbourhood, at the top we have an area, a green space. And what we were thinking about doing is getting places like the council to drop a mountain of what they call soil improver, which is really stuff that they cut from parks, and it's parks and countryside is responsible for cutting trees and chopping them, mincing them, and that's really sat there at one of the local places, and not many people know about it. And if we could have that there, neighbours could help themselves, or we could have a designated day where we could come in, and bring it to our houses and that way use it up. At the top of the road as well, we have another guy who's a farmer. He works at not far from here by the park, and he has access to mountains of manure.
Garden space and green space is often underused, and I would like to see more done. I've floated past various people the idea that if a group want to use housing land that is not being used for housing, they're allowed just to get on with it, and say the council could say, well, you can have free use of this, but we're going to give you 2 years warning if ever we're going to build on it. That would give a group at least 2 years that it's worth putting some fertiliser down and spending some time and effort on something.
Be it you grow it yourself, or you are part of a project, either as a working volunteer or maybe as an investor in the local biome that produces your tropical fruit. If that is seen as the most effective way of doing it, that the energy demands of producing it on site are actually more effective than flying it around the world. Obviously we've got responsibility to all the third world producers who couldn't rely on our cash